Today I'm in Jakarta in Indonesia, on my way to Bali, where I'll be spending the winter. And this was supposed to be a quick stop between connected flights, but I decided to stay here for longer, since this place is so dynamic, so different from anything I have experienced in Europe. It's definitely worth checking out. Driving culture here is something totally different. It is complete chaos, and I do not think I will have a vehicle for myself. First of all, because I don't have international driver's permit, and secondly, the traffic here is a nightmare. So I have spent approximately a week here, and I haven't seen a single traffic accident. So that is very surprising, seeing how these guys ride their motorcycles, scooters, tuk-tuks and whatever can be found on the street here. So they merge between the lanes like, you know, those small clusters of fish in the ocean, and then somehow just go their separate ways, but no one is crashing into each other. Today I'll be walking around Jakarta in the center of it. So currently I'm in the area which is rather civilized. So they do have lanes, they do have sidewalks, and there is no open sewage at the side of the road. So it is quite, maybe even south of Europe like, except for a couple of things. But then there are districts that are apparently less fortunate, and that's where the most interesting vehicles can be found. So let's go. I think I'm gonna grab a tuk-tuk, or maybe this time it could be a scooter. So they have scooter taxis that bring you on the back of a scooter. It looks extreme, so wish me luck. I hope I will end up safe with no broken bones in the center of Jakarta. So waiting for a taxi to the center. They use applications Gojek, Bluebird, Grab, so that is kind of a security that you can get a taxi service that will not overcharge you, charge you directly from the credit card, and it's kind of legit. Another interesting phenomenon that I just observed here is these self-proclaimed traffic regulators. They run in the middle of the street and organize the traffic. So if anyone needs to park, he sees some traffic jam forming, he tries to regulate it. You can see those traffic regulators a lot. The guy is also taking money from the drivers sometimes. I don't know what the deal is, but apparently there is some law, some street law that I don't know. That guy with the food cart is causing some scooter jam. So the drivers should be somewhere here. Oh, this, yes. Thank you.
So this scooter taxi rode quite convincingly. If you don't have much to carry around, I'd say it's the quickest transport in Jakarta. It can squeeze past the heavy traffic, use some narrow shortcuts or even sidewalks. While I'm getting out of the more civilized neighborhood of Menteng, it's not that obvious, but as I approach the center it becomes evident that the traffic here is quite terrible even outside of rush hour. And no wonder, Jakarta is a 10 million city and it is amongst the cities with the worst traffic in the world. A 3-hour trip to work is not unusual in Jakarta, and some resources say that average Jakartan can spend 10 years of life in traffic, which just seems mind-boggling. And the driving culture is just downright horrifying. The locals don't seem to be familiar with the concept of lanes, although they are clearly marked on the larger streets. Pulling out in front of someone who has the main road is a normal practice, and beeping while doing so, or pretty much in any other situation, is a way of non-verbal communication. So I arrived at the Grand Indonesia shopping center, and before I go inside to check out the local Lamborghini dealership, I want to show the staggering contrasts of living standards in Jakarta. Just in a 3-minute walk away from this 11-story mall with all the fanciest brand shops, restaurants, spas and everything you can imagine is a completely different kind of environment. Narrow, dirty aisles with scruffy booths, street dogs and beggars. That is how most of the city looks like, and there is nothing in between really. It seems that there is no middle class, either you are rich or poor. So anyway, back to the mall.
So right now I'm in shopping center Pacific Place. It is one of the largest, fanciest shopping malls here, and immediately I'm greeted by Lamborghini dealership. So let's go check it out. So they have a beautiful mirror behind the bars. Probably it's too valuable to be touched by the customers. Maybe not. Maybe if you have enough money, then that's fine. So there is a Huracan Evo rear-wheel drive. It is an updated, latest version. So I love the fact that they did a rear-wheel drive on Lamborghinis. Ever since they were purchased by Audi, they tend to use all-wheel drive. And then there is Aventador. Beautiful bright colors. The windows are tinted all around, so apparently it's quite a common thing here. It's not regulated that you cannot tint the front windows as it is in Europe. Interesting thing about Indonesia is that they have luxury tax, which is over 100%, so you can pay more than you pay for the actual car just in the tax. So this is 50th anniversary version, only 100 were made. So it has some carbon fiber elements. The seats are covered. And this particular dealership doesn't have a lot of customers coming in. Actually, since I've been here, I haven't seen anyone entering. As the customer service guy told me, it is a bit difficult to sell a Lamborghini here, but sometimes a wealthier customer comes in and buys a Lamborghini. When you want to test drive it, they bring you to Singapore because the traffic here is indeed dangerous and maybe there is just no place to enjoy a Lamborghini performance. And there is a room where you can customize your car, have some nicer wheels, interior trim, exhaust tips, whatever you can customize.
After visiting the Lamborghini dealership, I just walked around the Jakarta center. I noticed that most of the more prosperous Jakartans choose European premium car brands, Mercedes, BMWs. I spotted some Maseratis, Range Rovers, but nothing different from what you see in any other larger European city. But limited resources of the regular Indonesian people actually facilitate the most creativity with their transport and make this place unique and interesting. To observe more of that, I have to walk a bit further away from the center.
I'm already getting a bit further away, and this is starting to look a bit more like Jakarta that I'm used to. No Maseratis trying to squeeze through here. So the scooters are overwhelming majority of the vehicles here. You cannot see many motorbikes. On every 50 scooters you can find one motorbike. These are more serious bikes, Suzukis with some loud exhausts. Hello! You have some serious bikes here. So apparently the regulations on what sort of equipment you can put on your vehicle are very, very loose. Lighter intake, some sort of a valve for the oil. That looks like a properly loud exhaust. And what appears to be 50cc engine. Yeah, apparently modifications can be quite severe and you still have roadworthiness, or not. And then we have something that appears to be the heaviest motorbike-like vehicle I've seen so far. So it used to be a motorbike, but now it has become a van carrying some rubbish with a live axle. So that ingenuity here is something else.
While the scooters and crudely modified mopeds are by far the most common means of transportation, the tuk-tuk must be the most recognizable vehicle here. Sadly though, tuk-tuks have become kind of an endangered species due to app-based transport companies like Gojek or Grab that push them out of the market. They are essentially a motorized rickshaw with 3 wheels, a 2-stroke engine and soft roof. Most of them are in poor condition, but that doesn't stop the owners from attaching various embellishments to make them stand out. And don't be fooled by the shabby appearance. If the driver sees that you are not local, they'll charge you many times more than an air-conditioned, comfortable taxi. But I tried riding one nevertheless. Due to fierce competition, tuk-tuks might soon disappear from the Indonesian streets.
I think it's time for a tuk-tuk ride. I'm trying to find one that looks least dirty. I already had a ride in a tuk-tuk and it was rather clean, rather nice. So let's negotiate the price of 10,000 rupiah just to go around the block and with no destination. This looks okay. Hello.
Okay.
Do you mind if I'm filming?
Okay.
So during the rain it might drip inside a little bit. The top speed of these things is not high. But they have an advantage of being quite nimble. They can squeeze through places. All right. So apparently they do not have signs that tell who has the main road. So how these operate, they apparently have a clutch and switching the gears with left handle. As I said, they can squeeze through, unlike a regular taxi. And probably they are not afraid of getting their paint job scratched, unlike this fancy van. It doesn't look like he has been on these roads for a long time. Looks quite fresh. Unfortunately, the tuk-tuk drivers rarely or never speak English, so it's quite difficult to change the directions on the go if you change your mind. So it's advisable to have a local SIM card so that you can follow where you are going on Google Maps. Otherwise, you can be brought where you don't want to go. I think our ride is coming to the end. That's what I get for 10,000 rupiah. Another thing is that pedestrian crossings don't mean much here. Even though there is a pedestrian crossing, you have to wave and be really... Okay, I have to get out. Thank you very much. Thanks. All right. I would say I would take a Bluebird or Grab next time because they are air-conditioned, smooth, fast, and even cheaper. But that requires you to install an app and have a credit card attached to the app.
The tuk-tuk brought me right back to the center and it was starting to get dark. So after a short walk I did take a Bluebird taxi home. As the darkness covers up some of the poverty in the night, Jakarta gives the impression of a well-developed and prosperous city. I'm sure there is plenty more to see, but I'm headed for the next exciting destination.
These have been fun days in Jakarta, so now I'm on my way to Bali. I'll get my international driver's permit ready and probably get something to drive and try out myself. Stay tuned, I'll be preparing some more quality content from more interesting places around the world. So, see ya!